Hello and welcome to General Lab Safety around tools and hazardous equipment. This video is meant to educate those who may or may not be aware of the dangers that the lab equipment you may be using poses a threat to your very survival. Let's begin. The first order of business is to always have protection. Without this basic safety strategy, you will inevitably end up in a situation where things can fly up and take out your eye. Whenever using tools in the workstation, always remember to wear these or you will end up like some of these people. With this knowledge in hand, let us move forward onto some of the tools you will be encountering during your scientific experience. I want to first tell you about saws. This can be a very useful tool when used correctly, like to saw a piece of wood the length that you may want it. However, the saw must be treated carefully, or else you may up slipping and hurting yourself, or worse, someone else, or worse, me, a disembodied voice. Hey, you never know, these things can be dangerous. When cutting a piece of wood, you are going to need something to clamp it down. Ha ha, get it? Because the next tool is a clamp. When using the clamp, all you want to do is make sure that you have it tight enough so that the wood does not slide around, which brings me back to the saw. If your wood is swinging around, don't try to saw it. Something will slip and someone will get hurt. Back to the clamp. There's really only one other way to use this tool incorrectly. Under any circumstances, do not clamp your finger. It seriously freaking hurts. I was in tears just taking this photo. In retrospect, I could have just found one on the internet. Moving forward, once your wood is cut down, the edge may be all jagged and full of splinters, which could end up in your hands. So to get that hazard out of the way, use a piece of handy-dandy sandpaper. Just put the sandpaper to the edge and then kablamo! That dangerous piece of wood becomes as smooth as something smoother than a rough piece of wood. Be careful though and don't sand yourself. Hold on, I have a buddy who did that once. I think I have a picture of his hand. Let me show. Oh, there it is. Now say you want to hammer that wood to something else, and you think to yourself, hey, I'll just use that not at all dangerous hammer over there. Now you might be thinking you're a real smart fellow until you realize, no, a hammer is really dangerous. To use its safety, you must be both precise and patient. So don't just go nailing everything so fast that you lose control and end up breaking something vital, like a finger. Just remember to focus when using your hammer, and if you feel uncomfortable with it, just ask someone else to nail it for you. Now we transition seamlessly into electronics, like batteries. Batteries should only be used in productive and unwasteful manners. All you have to do to be safe is just put one in the holder like so. And now it can only hurt someone through holding the two ends of the wires. The point I'm really trying to make at is, don't lick batteries. And also, don't forget that these are a holder for these, not these. Outlets can be a great way to transition into the next topic of a discussion in a video about safety tips. In this case, it's the soldering iron. This is a tool meant to connect two things together like wires by heating itself up to a temperature that can solder only two wires being connected. If you were to ask a pro like myself, I would say to never, ever touch the tip of a soldering iron ever. Not even to lazily check on it, because if it was left on by mistake, you will get burned and cry like a baby, and people will mostly laugh rather than feel bad for you. If you are accidentally burned by the soldering iron, just run the affected area over room temperature water. Also, do not ever leave the soldering iron on when you are not using it, because that is a very good way to start a fire and burn down the entire school. Another good way to burn down the entire school is by applying the iron to a piece of wood. I get that you're curious, but come on, it does not take a lot of brain power to realize that heat and wood make fire, or at least enough smoke to set off an alarm. A last inclusion on this ongoing list of soldering iron tips is to always put it back in the holder, because something may catch on fire, or someone will unintentionally bump into it if left out. Moving to fire safety, if there is a fire, there is a plethora of things that you can do to stop the fire, like the stop, drop, and roll method. Also, make sure to inform other people that there's a fire so that they can go get things like a teacher, a fire blanket, a fire extinguisher. There's some things that aren't useful, like a fire extinguisher, or some wood, or flammable materials. Alright, moving away from fire, here are some generally unsafe things to do in a classroom. Running with scissors, stapling your hand, sharpening your finger, playing with the chemical extraction water thingy. And on a final note, I hope we have all come to know, do not eat anything you found in the lab. I know it may look like doggy food, but I can tell you, it ain't. Have a fun building safely.